Many historians call Washington Irving the father of American literature. That's because at the time he wrote his popular books, articles, and short stories, the United States was a new country. Most literature taken seriously by educated people at that time was written and published by Europeans. A snobby English critic of the early 1800s asked, "In the four quarters of the globe, who reads an American book?" Everybody. Or at least it seemed like that after Washington Irving started publishing his work. He became the first best-selling author in the United States and the first American to earn his living by his pen. He was a celebrity when the country itself was still celebrating having become an independent nation. Irving was born in New York City on April 3, 1783. Just 8 days later, the Revolutionary War, which freed the American colonies from British rule, ended with a ceasefire. Washington Irving was named after the war hero who became the first president of the new nation. As a 6-year-old, Irving watched the presidential inauguration of General George Washington in New York City, then the capital of the United States. He even met the famous man. Irving's nanny followed the president around Lower Manhattan with her young charge in tow. She finally cornered President Washington in a shop and introduced his namesake. George Washington patted Washington Irving on the head and blessed him. The boy never forgot this, even when he became famous himself. Washington Irving was the son of immigrants William Irving Sr., a sailor who had come from Scotland, and Sarah Saunders from England. William Irving Sr. became a successful merchant in New York City, importing and selling hardware, wine, and household goods. He and Sarah had 11 children. Washington was their youngest child. As a boy, he lived with his family on William Street in Lower Manhattan, a part of the city that was bustling and thickly settled. But young Washington liked to roam north along the Hudson River, where the city turned into smaller villages and open countryside. "I was always fond of visiting new scenes and observing strange characters and manners," he said. This curiosity came in handy when Washington turned to writing. As a teenager, Washington Irving studied to become a lawyer. He needed a profession in order to support himself, but he was not a very dedicated student, nor was he really interested in the law. Irving preferred going to the theater, accepting dinner invitations, traveling, and keeping up with an interesting circle of friends and acquaintances. In 1802, when he was 19 years old, he started writing letters that were published in his brother's newspaper. Readers enjoyed Irving's letters, which included theater reviews, funny descriptions of rowdy audiences, and mocking comments about marriage, fashion, and even dueling. He wrote these pieces using a pen name, a different name authors use to conceal their identity. Nonetheless, most people knew that printed letters signed by Jonathan Oldstyle were really written by Washington Irving. Pen names became a signature style for Irving in many of his later works. Though he squeaked through the bar exam and became a lawyer, Washington Irving was still much more interested in dining, drinking, and gossiping about literature, culture, and politics. These interests cost money, though. Irving wasn't all that excited about practicing law, and so he turned to writing. In 1807, Washington Irving, his brother William, and some friends wrote and published a literary magazine called Salmagundi. The articles in it poked fun at New York politics, well-known people, and the fashionable world. Salmagundi was very popular. More and more readers became familiar with Washington Irving's writing. 2 years later, he became an even bigger success.